I don't know why you're looking at me. I don't know how to salvage that one. If you're at home, you know, wash your hands.
They banned Death Prophet. They banned Mars.
Yeah, are we back to picks already? The guys actually went well with their 5-minute breaks. And yeah, let's see the bans, the 4 generic bans we discussed before. This is going to be very obvious choices, though it is a change right now, right? The Rubik, what was the problem with it? Actually, you know what we're missing? I think in any panel before, especially drafts and so on, I think we're missing the team and players' introductions. I don't know how we ended up not mentioning them and so on. Maybe it's their parents or grandmothers or friends watching right now, and somebody might not even know. We just discussed debates.
You didn't even introduce yourself, Ivan.
Because everybody knows me. I'm just on a different cast. I was supposed to be in the Russian one.
Even T-Cover didn't know who you were until
But interesting fact.
Let's be real here. I think no one knows anyone, and then you got Kyle. It's like, oh, Kyle, back at it again with the, you know, it's just Kyle plus the random.
Yeah, okay. Let's go with me, and then you will follow up with the names of the players and something, maybe an interesting fact about.
He's trying to like offset his work to you now.
Let's start it this way.
What?
He wants basically wants.
I'll introduce myself, and you will introduce the teams.
Okay.
Is it okay?
You're the host. You're in charge. Why are you looking at me for direction, okay?
Because you were supposed to do it this way.
Ah.
Like you're okay with reading the names and so on. So, okay, I'm Ivan. And Kyle did already mention that I'm the founder of eSport Charts, the company that monitors everything that happens on the streams worldwide. And we kind of try to prove the common sense to the brands that esports is a safe place to invest in and to sponsor with and so on. But also I am the president of Esports Ukraine, the Ukrainian Esports Federation, by the way. And this is actually why I care so much about the charity and awareness events, because I want people to be smarter, like I mentioned before, because of the awareness,
Aware.
just to be aware and so on.
Enlightened.
And this is why I want the audience, the community to know their heroes, and all of the participants of this event, including us, by the way, even Kyle, are a bit of a heroes because we're working for free, we're playing for free, we play to save, right? This is the official hashtag of the event. And
they play to save. They play
we
to
speak
save.
to donate. I don't know.
Yeah, just clever. It's not about us though. It's we're just trying to put on some good show, give you guys at home something to watch. And
it's an escape. That's how I describe Dota. It's through hardships, you use Dota as that escape mechanism, and this is one of those times that it's even more prominent. It doesn't matter about, it's just being part of this community that is currently going on watching this tournament. Even if you can't donate because you're financially in a position that you can't, it doesn't matter because you're in a position that you're supporting everyone else.
Yep.
You're giving people an outlet to enjoy a game that we all love.
And this is so very good that we have a thing to love, actually, because we cannot be bored while having Dota anyway, right? People that are sticking at home while being not very used to it, right? They're lacking such thing. And this is what we're introducing, a better entertainment at home.
And I think that's something that's a really good point, is that there's going to be a social cost to this crisis as well. If you're at home and you're self-quarantined or you're by yourself, keep in mind that you can host video calls with your friends and family. Discord has a cool feature that you can actually...
And they extended it to 50 people now.
And so you can also sync up if you want to watch Netflix together, as an example. You can utilize Discord so that you can actually watch it at the exact same time. Sort of like having a movie night with friends, except
Save the world by staying home, right? This is the things that a lot of people actually dreamed of, but some of them were not ready, right? And this is maybe the type of the leisure time we're introducing to a lot of people that are new maybe to, I don't know, Twitch or YouTube.
I think most of our viewers aren't so new, though, which is a good thing. I mean, at the end of the day, we all just stayed inside and played Dota anyway, so we were somewhat
losing
born
games
for this scenario.
Sticking at home, losing games. But yeah, back to
introducing the teams.
Let's do it.
Exactly. I appreciate that you let all the names come up just in case I didn't know it. On the side of NaVi, of course, you've got Sema, Magical, Crystallize, Elias, and 9 Pasha. Baited the Dendy squad with PO65 on the carry. LeBron Dota playing the hard support, Ghostic, and then King R4. A mishmash of, I don't want to say the leftovers, but it's kind of what the squad was. Gambit, VP, NaVi, they got the dealer's choice.
Yeah, they the first got
deep
exactly. Season starts, they make their teams, they've got the big checkbooks, they get it, and then everyone else. It's, for example, you look at other teams kind of doing the same thing. I won't mention them because they're NA teams, sensitive subject, kind of weird region, but same kind of concept.
I don't really know of any NA teams. Interesting. I mean, I think that North America's region is just a bit weaker. I think perhaps part of it could be that, instead of using this time to practice, players are just running down middle, which I don't think is a really effective way to increase MMR, but it will be interesting to see how they perform later in this tournament. I do hope that we'll see an SA versus NA final, especially.
Ooh,
EG is playing in this tournament, right? But with the stand-in, because I think Abed is in Asia. Anything can really happen. But I just hope that all the players continue to give their best. And again, shout out to the guys inside of this event, as all of these players are just doing it pro bono, trying to raise money for a good cause. As we get a Chen Nix opener up against a Snapfire and Ember Spirit, who was recently buffed, as you discussed, I think, in the previous series, Searing Chains.
Less cooldown.
And I think less mana cost. I'm not really sure, honestly. There was so much in these last couple of
All the
packs.
minor changes. Fundamentally, as a hero, he's still the same. And as you can see from these picks, both teams opting to go for a direct counter in their initial opening. So obviously you have the Ember against Chen. Chen naturally as a support doesn't really have much lockdown, utilizes his creeps. Again, that's not really reliable. And then Nyx, the counter against Snapfire, with the Carapace against the ultimate. So both teams kind of respecting these initial big pickups. And
Do you feel like maybe Ember Spirit and Void Spirit, like their faces are the exact same? It's like I get that they're brothers, but I feel like they're twin brothers, and I'm not sure if that was intended or not. Because they come like one is from the Fire Nation, and the other came out of like space or something.
Mustache Nation. Beardy Nation.
Like
I'm going to put it out there. I have no idea about lore here. So all I
Lore?
can say, if I had to do like a comparison here with no understanding of lore, they do have like different facial structures. So maybe they have like stepbrothers or something, but I have no idea.
They are actually brothers. But we should probably have a charity event just telling lore stories, because this is somebody that a lot of people are actually missing. And I feel like it's been a huge team working on top of that, because this is a crazy story to tell, which we probably will. But
What is that story?
The Dota story. Every hero, who's relative to who, what's happening, why is the world there, and so on, so on, so on.
The Dota fairy tale.
The theory. Kyle's book.
What's your opinion on Bristleback, actually? I really don't like this hero that much, personally.
I like it. I like it a lot with Dazzle.
Oh, okay.
I actually think Bristle's somewhat underpicked, especially after the changes to Vanguard with the recipe removal.
Sure.
And I love Dazzle as a hero concept. I'm also... It was buffed recently. In addition, you have now a Grave element with a hero that's super tanky and has high regen, and then a hero such as Ember that relies on elusiveness to survive. I think that whenever I see core combinations, like Bristle loves playing with something that has a lot of lockdown. Ember loves playing with a big beefy hero that can acquire vision for him within a team fight so that he's free to play in space. And this is a really nice compliment. I love the baited lineup, and to me, this is actually, you can see how they could win a game, right? You can have Bristle just beat on the tower. Yeah. As the rest of the squad plays around him. This was missing from the previous game, where in addition to the lack of tower pressure, they didn't have a frontliner. Yep. You can say maybe it was Centaur, but it's not the same. You're not really dealing structure damage.
But is it going to be Dandy playing the Ember Spirit? Is it Ember Spirit soft lane?
But there is potential flexibility here, because with Bait having
Which is good, but I've never seen Dandy play Ember.
No, but I've seen Dandy sometimes play Dazzle. And there is the potential with the
especially with the Ags.
Yeah, so if you have... Slot, they have no lockdown for slots, so it's going to be a really good slot game. But going back quickly to that Dazzle point, there is chance that Dazzle Core could become a thing. I don't think maybe now it's not going to have a good showing, maybe, because it's quite early days. But with the Ags change, getting a right click on any spell you use, there's a big chance for like an Ags, Deso type, or even just a casual Greaves type, just be tanky, annoying, right click. I think mainly right click idea, but
knowing baited like I do, with them having overall last pick, I think it is almost impossible that they don't choose a Dendi hero for the last overall selection. It's just what their style is.
But do you not think they still have the same fundamental issue, which is simply how do we end the game? I love the tempo. I like obviously the points that you made about Bristle. You have the ability to go enabled, but you're kind of still running into that same wall of even if you kill them, there's this elusive Slark that you have no lockdown. He can skip waves if he wants. He can fight you. The Dendi hero pool, it's still leaving a question mark. Like.
Lion mid.
I think he's watching it, so I'll give a shout out to Nahas. He's always loved this Nyx assassin pick because it functions as so many bans. If you pick Nyx, the other team they can't. Yeah. Exactly. So a lot of the heroes that we want to fit into that spot for beta just aren't there. You can't select it. I think Shadow Fiend is a possibility, and that's the sort of direction I'd love to see Dendi go towards.
Yep. It does unlock the draft. Like Shadow Fiend naturally as a hero will enable that quite a lot.
I also would love perhaps a Force Staff hero. Just maybe something.
I like Kunkka, actually.
I like Kunkka a lot
Kunkka, like,
too. That's not bad.
When I see Kunkka, I see him, like, I look at my draft and go, I got a lot of nice ways of running at you, and then I want to find that final piece of the puzzle. Kunkka always kind of enables
But
that.
is he good enough against Slark, especially against
Yes,
Bats?
because it's about it's similar if Blitz ever comes back on a panel, it's how you address a Storm Spirit as well. In theory, yeah, you need a ton of lockdown, but what can be equally effective is to have enough lockdown and the ability to press to your advantage and perhaps even win the game around 20 to 25 minutes before the Storm is online. Slark has that same issue. Sure, after a Diffusal, an Ags, and a BKB, this hero's very scary, but in the mid game, you don't do any damage. Whereas if you look at this baited lineup, it's like, oh my god, like you're just going to get ran at. Where's the team fight from this Navi lineup at the moment? Their two supports, Chen, Nyx, they scale pretty well. Chen, especially in that early laning phase, should be able to have an impact, but you don't threaten Bristle at all. And you don't really threaten an Ember Spirit either. So you have the ability as beta to just press your advantage, get some early towers, and then just kind of throttle the Slark and prevent his acceleration.
It does depend on the laning phase, though, because when you have Chen Necro plus this Slark, it's going to be a hard Bristle lane. And even if you want the Bristle to start skipping, you have Chen who can be a little bit annoying. It's going to disrupt the flow. And this Necro pick...
Did they ban the SF?
I didn't see.
We didn't see the last
But
ban.
this Necro pick, though, when you think of that, it's you now put pressure on this Ember. It's like, okay, so Necro v melee heroes, Necro favored. So if you want to put this Ember as a safe lane, potentially, it puts question marks of where you're putting your heroes. And I'm still kind of down to put this Dazzle as this mid just to get you that forward momentum. Maybe, like we talk about how you hit towers. Cheeky little Deso, mate.
That would have been a big swap, by the way.
I'm trying to do a hard sell.
But this is a good one. This is a good one. This patch actually recommends Dazzle mid very much, but we're not sure the Dandy is ready to do this, right?
Yeah, but this I love this.
This is the Seth, yeah.
This is
It's not bad,
first off, it's just look at a BKB Shadow Fiend. What in the hell does Navi do against it? It's a very good matchup middle against either Void Spirit or Necro. And again, natural BKB buyer, and you peak around that timing that Baited could look to win the game. 20, 25 minutes in, you have a Bristle hit the tower, an SF with Aegis perhaps, or an Ember with Aegis, and you have so much poke, you can keep your supports secure. Snapfire, arguably highest damage 5 in Dota 2, and then a Dazzle for save. This to me is the perfect pick, and if there was a game Beta would win, it's this one. But still, Navi, as the game progresses, that Necro versus Bristle matchup, as you said, you know, you get to a point as Bristle, you just can't really play Dota. But at a pipe timing, all of a sudden, you're just going high ground.
It's just refreshing to see a way for them to at least conquer an objective. Because first game, none of it. This game, they actually have a way. And I'm looking, I think Bait, they did have a really strong early game in that last game. And this game, they have, you've already said, the same potential. And Necro, he needs items to be tanky. Slark needs items to come online. Void Spirit, he needs a team to play with. And if he's offset, like if he has a good laning phase, and he's still waiting on his team to have items, that's when you have this discrepancy, which a Bristleback, which sometimes isn't that good, can excel. So, yeah, I think they got the one hero that you could have picked to really save their draft in terms of
probably operating Bristleback is just unkillable here.
Yeah, and it's a ton of minus armor stacking as well, thanks to the SF. And let's say Ember goes for the Deso, to your point. All of a sudden, with the SF aura, with the Ember Slight, and with Bristle gooing you, that's like minus 15 armor across the board. These two supports will melt. It's all about the BKB timings. That first Aegis, Baited look to capitalize, and with luck, force a game 3 if they can execute well
with
here.
luck, where's the skill?
And we definitely need the game 3 because since obviously we're gaining some viewership, we're getting people to watch us, to spread the idea, to participate in the cause, to donate maybe to the whole virus fighting initiative that we have here, right? And hopefully with us ending this great panel, we will pass the camera time to our great casting team. And hopefully, guys, your energy will lead us to have the third game.
You're definitely going to want to see some energy coming out from the Bait fans here. This might, as Carl's hitting on, be their best opportunity to actually take a game here against Navi. He says with a little bit of luck, though. All I'm seeing is so much negative armor. Is it just going to be a one-punch man scenario for Navi's members?
It's difficult for these heroes to become that one-punch man when you have an SF and a Bristleback. They're more like those that are slowly going to wear you down. You have the Bristle, you have the Dazzle, you have the SF, and that's probably their win condition. However, you are playing into a Necro who can sustain himself quite well throughout the game if he gets a decent laning stage, and that's where the game will be made or broken down for Navi.
Well, for right now, they're just focusing on trying to break PO's spirit here as they find the first blood. That was quite a long pursuit as well. No hope for the Amber to escape. But I do like this, right? Like, whenever I see an SF, you might recall I'm a little bit nerdy on I always like to see that second minus armor element, whether you've got a Deso builder for buildings or someone that can additionally minus armor on heroes. And they have so much here with the goo, with your Dazzle as well, and obviously the talents that come in for tower pushing. It seems quite straightforward for bait.
They definitely have this snowball-y kind of a lineup that can roll completely out of control around that 20-minute mark behind the Bristleback and the SF, right? That's definitely an option for them. But once again, they really have to perform really well in the laning stage. Everything falls apart for a snowball-y lineup if their laning stage does not go too well.
And we've seen that from a few of these heroes, specifically like Bristleback, right? It's not a hero that wants to fall behind. It really can't afford to. And when you're looking at the Ember in this game, your opponents do have the Nyx, right? It's just an easy setup for your follow-up with the Spike Carapace combo and the Flame Guards. So it shouldn't be that easy for bait, but as we said, they can find a way through this laning phase. They can start to build a slight lead, maybe get a rotation or two going. You can get that 5-man Devi Dota going.
5-man Devi, yeah, that's very well put. You can see the Nyx Assassin already not really doing the Devi thing, not really fighting. Instead, he takes the creep wave, skips it, connects it under his tower so that Pasha has an easier time over here, but he drops really low. Let's see.
He's having a little bit of a rough time. They scout wrong, but that means he won't be on the creeps. Void Spirit's still just such a flexible hero where you can place it. Oh, the chains. The cheeky chains allows LeBron to just chase this down. And the Remnant won't protect him because Pio's waiting with that slide fit. They need to salve up, and that will be enough to keep him alive, or will it? They've got the chains again.
It does keep him alive, but it breaks his salve, and that's almost just as good for them because it will prevent Pasha from being a nuisance on this lane. It will prevent him from pressuring Pio, and if you can see, they have 2 range creeps, which means that they will push in. So all these laning shenanigans that they tried to do with creep skipping didn't really work out too well for them. Magical.
And oh, no.
Very uncharacteristic raise miss from Dandy.
He's just warming up his fingers, okay? He's been busy washing them all day. And
he also rushed the bottle. That's very interesting considering the 4-minute mark spawn.
Yeah.
I would expect something different, like stats, even a stick early on versus Necro, but he just goes for that bottle so early on.
Maybe it's the confidence. He was like, with this, I will definitely get a first kill in the lane rather at this stage. But
I guess it's because it's the SF, right? You can go for the bottle or the mangoes for the raises. So.
Usually we would see the mangoes in that scenario. It's the argument, do I think I'm going to be pressured by the Necro at all? Slayer trying to move away, but they've got the chains. And with that, they will be able to get the kill.
I was wondering if we'll see more Embers pick up chains early on because of the changes. They are stronger with the recent patch.
I like it more in the outer lanes where, like, it used to be the rundown potential with Flame Guard, right? But when you've got a second hero there, like, if you can get 2 chains in a chase and it's a lot of damage and it's not as much mana expense.
And when there's 2 heroes there, it's easier for them to break through your Flame Guards, right? So it definitely is very valuable on the side lane. And they also get the bottle here on the Ember. Very interesting. It is cheaper though, right? So
yeah. Bottles and I am he's felt a bit weird for a while ever since they removed bottle crowing, right? Like people have been trying to find ways to justify it. And every once in a while it does get these little buffs and over time it adds up.
Okay, so when it comes to the laning stage so far, SF 17 CS behind him, Necro and Void Spirit. Doing pretty well.
Bristle's doing reasonably well, quite well, I'd say. Like, he's got more CS, obviously some denies on Slark, but I think the hurdle for Bristle is you always have to reach about level 4 without giving over too much, right? And that's when you can start to hold your own.
Yeah, that's true, but you could see the panel, you could hear them. They were talking a lot about this Bristleback and how he's strong in the mid game together with the Dazzle and the SF. That's all true, but you're playing into a Necro and Slark, and this is really not an easy Bristleback game. Exactly. If he has the best time in the laning stage, he can do a lot. If he struggles just a little bit, this game can fall apart for him.
Most definitely. I think in this type of game, it is that situation where you're there to try and distract. And Pasha, he's distracting the bot lane Faith with his life. I don't think that's what he was intending to do, though.
Yep. Nyx Assassin left him.
He's busy trying to snipe Chorus.
He was trying to snipe that courier, perhaps creep skip. They have a lot of these deep wards. You can see these 2 dire observers in the Radiant jungle scouting the couriers, but that didn't really help them out.
And you know, when you look at both sides, these offlaners are going to be the pace setters, right? Like the Void Spirit can rotate, make kills happen. The Bristleback is in this game, the point I was going to make is function a bit like a Timber Saw, right? Where it's like draw attention to the lane, waste their time, progress. And so far, he's not being punished.
Definitely. One of the things that I do see problematic for NaVi is the fact that Void Spirit is not having a great game. And if you look at heroes on their side, it's Chen and it's Void Spirit that should be the pace setters and the playmakers in the mid game. And right now, they're not really having the best time.
No, I'd say top lane is you know, the pressure is on the Chen in that situation. The pressure is on in the mid. It's Magical. He's like, okay, I have no choice but to fight you. But there's the raise. Dendi, he's calibrated his fingers now. And he'll get the easy kill. Elias in the top lane will be casually ran down. We'll lose his little baby creep.
He might lose his life as well here.
Yep. They'll re-meet in heaven.
Yeah, you can see that their lane stage is not great. The laning stage is not great for NaVi, and that's really what Bait needed. They needed to win this laning stage. They have managed to get a kill on the mid lane. They managed to shut down Pasha's Void Spirit somewhat. They killed him a couple of times, but if you look at the CS, he's still doing, he's doing fine.
Yeah, especially when you compare it to the Ember. That's a gruesome stat to look at. And this is kind of the weakness now, is like you're in a scenario where you want to rotate the other lanes, but your Ember, he's nowhere near 6, and Void Spirit thrives on those one-on-one matchups. Meanwhile, a little bit D1 going on. They're trying to rotate onto Magical. They've got multiple heroes here. They'll be able to slow him down. They're holding that cookie. He's got that scythe, but no one to use it on. So look at the kill. LeBron cheekily steals it.
So far, Slayer hasn't really managed to make his impact in the game.
Oh, that's big. You need to give Pio somewhere safe. He needs a way of getting to 6 without being vulnerable. And the bot lane is definitely not the place to be now that the Void Spirit has 6 especially.
Yeah, it definitely is a difficult lane for him, but where do you rotate him at the moment? You could, let's say you send a Bristleback. So many times in your pubs, you have these players crying and forcing you to come from the offlane to the safe lane, right?
Yeah.
It shouldn't happen, because not only then have you lost your safe lane, but you're actively moving the hero that has a good time on the top lane into that awful scenario too.
It's the conundrum, right? People like, I am boss 1. You do things around me. And then that's how they sound in my pub games. Right?
So all your bad position ones are Russians, or what?
No,
Is that what you mean?
in Ukraine.
All right, I get it.
I'm adapting, which is what I was going to point out. They need to adapt, right? Just because it started as your past 1, sometimes you have to change these roles. The reality is, you aren't the dominant force in the game, and why would you sacrifice a lane that's going well to make 2 crappy, as you said? Crystallize wants this, but this is hurting way too much. You need to leave. He used the pounce as well, so they're going to keep chasing this down, force out the Shadow Dance. And he'll just about get out of range.
Yeah, he had to use the Shadow Dance there because of Poison Touch as well. The alternative was Dark Pact, but it brings him too low and one more stack of will. Yeah, pretty much.
Slayer, cheeky to try and get the room, but Dendi will be able to secure it. And they're still chasing on the Ghost Stick. They brought a lot of heroes here, which means that, you know, now you compare the mids. One is trying to gank because you're a Necro. You want to use that Scythe. The other is an SF. It's just going to farm.
That SF so far had a couple of pretty good rotations done by his teammates, right, towards that mid lane. He did manage to kill Magical twice, so if you're Dendi, you can choose what to do. You can go back to the jungle to farm up, or you can continuously pressure this tier 1. As you know, Necro is not coming back. If he does, you can just do the same thing again.
And, you know, even when we look at the Void Spirit and how well he's done and how well Pash doing, you look at this Ember that started to get bullied on that lane. He's not doing that bad net worth-wise. He's still finding gold, and that's the crucial part, is they have their free cores at the right point. They should be able to start to spiral around that 10-15 minute mark. But Magical is trying to slow that down now.
Nah, these 2 supports from Bait.
He's like, fine, hit me. I want you to hit me. And King Ha, cheeky attempt to snipe out the Courier. Won't work, but TP away. It won't work either as Pasha moves across.
Well, look on the bright side, they did manage to force 4 heroes from the side of NaVi there. Meanwhile, Dendi almost took down the complete tier 1 tower on the mid lane. Ember Spirit also got some space away from the pesky Void.
Yeah, and now he's taken over in terms of net worth. He's ahead of Pasha because of that little bit of space.
One problem is you resurrected this Necro, pretty much. You put him back into the game. He just got 2 kills on 2 supports. He was under-leveled, under-farmed. They were trying to mess with him in his jungle, and he just came back, killed both of them.
Can Undead really ever die?
What is that?
May never die.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And we'll just see the outpost secured in time. You don't want to miss out on that juicy XP that's coming up in 10 seconds. And Ghostic is just trying to keep this pushed in. He's probably the only one who can confidently stand anywhere near Pasha right now. Well, he's tanking.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And there should be the tier 1 tower going down. It's a decently early point to be securing it as well. And that will open up potential rotations from the Ember, from the SF, especially from the supports on bait, which are more aggressive.
I love how Slayer is sticking around trying to deny it. Yeah.
He's like, I really want this. No chance.
Dire's middle
The thing is, if he tries to deny it, he most likely dies afterwards. He was leeching a lot of space on this mid lane. They gave him all this time to get his level 6, his first Vendetta. Let's see if he can do anything with it.
It's incredibly important as well because of this bristleback. This is the point in the game where you can deal with him. And there it is. Break him, but the assistance is there, and that's an immediate abort. Ghostic, however, is ready to go. Cookie gets Dendy in range to get the raise out, and they'll just clunk down this Nyx.
That was forced because Vendetta was running out, and they knew that they had to use it somehow. And because of that, they used it in a really bad position, without any vision on the supports of bait. They got pretty much baited on that bristleback.
Sure.
One more thing about the Nyx Assassin, you mentioned it. That Vendetta has break, and now you can apply that break versus Bristle too. So I don't know why Panel was so ecstatic about this bristleback pick.
Yeah, I think there are ways of dealing with it. It's that kind of minus armor. I think that's what they honed in on, is like bait has so much minus armor. And even when Slark starts to build up those stacks and he gets all this armor through the Agi, that's usually one of the big boons of the hero, right? It's not only he hits harder, you can't dish the damage out, but in this situation, you can potentially melt him, especially the rest of his lineup around him. As you said, yeah, there is always that Nyx factor, but it does feel like Slayer is going to have to do a lot in these fights. And that is always the big if.
scanning.
Just look at the change in net worth now as the baits, their cores are moving up in the world.
Yeah, they're pretty much taking this advantage of this snowball-y type of a lineup. Chen hasn't really been online at all. You haven't been able to take a single tier 1 so far. You need to kill Ghostic. That's pretty much...
He tried for it. They'll get the stun. He's under tower though. TPs are coming in and Dazzle's there. He's always waiting. King R perfectly understands what they're trying to do in this game. And all they're going to do now is die on the side of NaVi. Ghostic will not even die off. Pasha also falls. They'll at least get one up, but I love the fact that Dazzle, it's not like he's going, oh, my 1 or 2 need to be guarded at all times. He understands that the bristle is the only thing NaVi want.
No, it's perfect performance so far from King Gar. It's not only about understanding where you have to be, but being there on time. You would see a lot of Dazzle's TP in that sort of a situation, but he preemptively TP'd, he was there already. And once they went on Ghostic, it's just easy to use that Grave and save him.
And it's hard to see another target, right? Like, Dendy is a bit awkward to kill off quickly. The Ember is an elusive hero. So now you're in this scenario where, because you keep losing these fights like this, you do have to deal with the Bristle. But now you have to find the Dazzle.
No matter what your other heroes are, you pretty much have to kill the Bristle, because if you don't take down Ghostic, you aren't taking down anyone else. And you most certainly aren't taking down objectives. Because his role in this game is to stand in front and just soak in all the aggression.
And in this type of game, it's not like he doesn't dish damage while doing that. Slayer trying to actually just slow him down, look for a setup here, but Ghostic just spams out the quills and scares them away. The chains come out into Magical, trying to heal up down to half HP already. We'll be able to move away, and Denny needs to be careful. Slayer, he's looking to stun this up, but they're not in position. And all of a sudden, Slayer is probably gone here, despite Carapace is cute. The Hand of God won't change anything, and it looks like someone's trying to give each other kisses. No touching.
Yeah, LeBron just channels that ulti just in case.
It's a true zoning ultimate. We talked about his last game. That's a good one.
But the question now is NaVi benefiting at all from this style of play in which Slark is just farming away on the sidelines while everyone else is sort of trying to fight? I don't see that. He has 1 Gloves of Haste. I think that's the normal casual one. I don't see him converting that into a Midas. And he needs to come online very soon and very fast, because bait is slowly but steadily forming into this snowball, which will be difficult to stop.
And the problem they have is that they don't have an inherent frontliner. They do have an in and out, right? Like, that's a good thing. Whenever you see Slark, you like this idea of in and out, and he has that in the Void Spirit, who is regretting his attempt to go in there. But then there's the Necro. That's my concern, is if Necro goes in, you are not getting out. There's too much magic damage to make that cheeky escape with the Shroud.
Now, even though you have the Chen heal and the Necro heal, you know, you have that amplification coming from Chen, it's still too much magic damage, like you just said, with the raises, with the Ember Spirit. It's just that the lanes went way too well for Bait, and now it's a much easier game for them to fight when they're one item ahead.
Basically, if you're Chen, you're dreaming of the time where you could have all the potato horses, you know? It's an army of centaurs giving you magical resistance. Don't get that anymore, though, sadly. I say sadly, that was probably one of the better changes than last year. Absurd element, to be sure. And you can see it, right? The Ember is even too tanky, right? They can just pounce and go for the scythe play. So they need some sort of some item to play around. They need it soon, and it's really just the Slark you're looking at, right? Like a Diffu is your biggest play. Maybe something like an Orchid on Pasha.
They're just one item behind. You're waiting for Slark to come online at the moment, and that's pretty much it. You can't fight them. The Void Spirit might get that Yules, which will enable him. He will be able to play the game. Right now, it feels like he can't even play it. He can go in and die. Same goes for Nyx Assassin. You could see it earlier. I don't know what he's going for.
Oh,
Perhaps
again.
Yeah. Perhaps a Meteor Hammer. Yeah. This is also the problem. He's going to go for this Meteor Hammer. Let's see.
Jump in. Ghostic down to half HP already, but they don't want to hard commit because they know there's this protection coming out from King Art. Now they'll try and snipe him out. They move in. Scythe goes down. They kill off the Dazzle, but now they need to be careful. The buyback's going to come out. He's able to TP to the mid lane, and Pasha is in retreat, but the kisses are coming out. Mortar is ready to play, but it doesn't have the range to follow through. And movement in, there's the range you need. Pio moves in, dodges out the stomp of player, but now he's too deep. He's out of mana. He needs some assistance right now, and he'll be there just in time.
Yeah, they can't really commit for that Ember Spirit because Kingar also bought back instantly to come and support his teammates. With that Grave active, you can't really go for the Ember Spirit. Overall, that fight from NaVi didn't look too bad, didn't look too shabby. You have Nyx Assassin, such a great hero in this game, not only because of the break, you also have the Carapace versus Mortimer's Kiss, right? So LeBron can't really channel that for more than a few seconds.
It was the natural counter we saw come into play the moment Snapfire emerged into Captain's draft, right? It's like straight away, this is the be-all counter. And I like the way that NaVi are adapting their fights now. They are understanding that it's all about these protracted engagements where you just send the Slark in, he always has a way out. Void Spirit as well, but you need to be careful with your Necro's positioning. Someone highlight, and they're definitely doing it well.
They want to contest.
We're going to kill him off quickly, but he's so goddamn tanky, he'll make it out again. Stun from Slayer looks good, but he's not that tanky. Spike Carapace means they can't hit into him, however. The reset will favor the side of Fate, as Magical's a little bit too far forward. Controller's out, but the Remnant barely stuns him. Dendy stunned up. Shallow Grave to save the day. He doesn't have that Requiem, of course, it's already been used. They used to buy a little bit more time so they can kill him off at the end. It hurts a lot, but not enough for them to care. They lose Slayer, they find bigger targets. That's the die back on King R. Pio will throw back a Remnant to be safe, and Ghostic is still alive through all of this. They no longer have that Scythe to work with, so they have to try and will him down, but the Quills are stacking up. They're going to keep hunting this. Ghostic, he's playing with fire here, and sometimes you get burned. He might, in fact, just about live, because it looks like Pasha has to retreat. On the other side of the fight, however, they will be able to get Ember out in time, and it looks like NaVi are going to back up here. They're all getting low, and when you turn this into a slower engagement at range, that's where Bait has the advantage.
Yeah, you could see the mistake coming from Bait right there. They went onto the Necro, and they didn't burst him down instantly, and you have that bonus heal coming from Chen. You also had Hand of God that wasn't even used for Necro. Later on, they go on the SF, they follow up with a couple of stuns, but most importantly is the way Slark played. And it's so incredible to see a Slark play in this way, in which he just goes in and dominates them, prevents Dazzle, prevents Ember, prevents Bristleback even from helping out the SF. He zoned out 4 of them on his own. On the stairs, he was literally just hitting them, and they had to run.
And that's kind of the beautiful factor, right? Like, keep highlighting it, is a hero that likes to go in and out. But once your Necro is in, you can't abandon him. You have to be going further in than him, especially if he's already used the Shroud. And as you said, beautifully done the choke points. Slayer, stun on the 2. They'll hit up the chains. They're moving in right now. A lot of damage being dished out here. Dendy, sight and blown up. He's gone. LeBron will join him in the grave. Slayer might give his life, but Ghosting needs to be careful being in this area because he's taking a lot of damage. They're going to surround him. Who cares about Quills? Who cares about stacking damage when you can just control him and kill him and say thank you for setting up rush?
I mean, I don't know if Bait is a little bit reckless or if NaVi's Ilias, this position 5 player, is just a god on this Chen, as he multiple times in a row succeeds as these double, triple stuns with his Centaurs. Like even there, he moves his Centaur just slowly
casual,
there.
right?
Just a casual stroll in the park, stuns 2 of them, makes things happen, and most importantly, stuns that SF before the Requiem is off. After that, it's easy for NaVi to follow up.
It's starting to fall apart a little bit. We said bait, they had this lineup, the Bristle does well, they can start to pivot off it, but now look at this Bristleback, who is so wealthy, so high up the charts. He's now the poorest core in this game, and he's almost irrelevant at this stage. They can just leave him till last, as we saw, which was originally the concern, as if they leave him last, they will die.
I think the utility that he brings to the game is still big. You do have your pipe, right, and you have this tank in front that can scout for you, but he definitely did fall off. And at the moment, he feels like free stats for Slark. He just latches onto him, gets a couple of stats, then continues on everyone else.
There's the classic good feeling for Slark, right? When you're like, oh, I'm so far ahead. You're literally just I'm gonna eat you. Even if it's the Axes, Underlords, those type of heroes, where it's like usually you want to avoid them because that control can lock you down. But Slark is starting to reach that point where he's too tanky for them to burst. And then you have to wonder where the damage comes from, right? If they're stacked, sure, Dazzle's good for that. Snapfire is never going to be able to dish out enough damage because we already highlighted this. Nyx will always be waiting with Spike Carapace.
Just the way Navi played these couple of team fights, being an item behind, being a couple of levels behind on almost every single hero, they managed to crawl back into the game just by pure execution in a couple of team fights. You shouldn't have 3 stomps happening from Centaur without someone stopping that, right? You have Snapfire, you have Cookie, you have some ways of dealing with that, but Navi, it looked like these teamfights are just way too easy for them.
Yeah, just clean cut patience is starting to really pay off and crystallize. It's one of those net moments where you just stare at each other pointlessly. It's like, well, just want you to know next time this might work. It's the mind games that really matter when you're playing Dota at this level. Oh, the pounce, it connects. PO does have a remnant though, so he'll get out.
Hold your horses, he's still completely fine.
But the
it's
essence,
an Ember.
It will allow him to push
By
this.
the way, did we mention that this Ember has a Necro? Did we talk about that?
No, we kind of glossed over it. It has been very useful for the bombs from the Dazzle as well.
Are we not going to talk about that?
I don't know, Mr. Analyst. Do you want to talk about it?
I mean,
You got a mixed feeling face.
we talked about this snowbally kind of a lineup that Bait have got going. I'm not sure if Necro is really the way to go with the Ember Spirit, but I'm always open-minded. Perhaps it is the new next item build. I don't know. Maybe he tested it. Maybe he loves it.
It seems good with the Dazzle, right? Because you do get bombs.
You do have, yeah, you do have the bomb from the Dazzle as well, which is good. You have Purge versus the Necro later on, I suppose, which is kind of alright. But later on...
Yeah, he's still got to keep farming yet. He's doing a reasonable job.
It helps you farm too, there's also that. But you remember, you don't necessarily need that. I don't know. Perhaps a Desolator together with SF and the Dazzle was a better idea, but, you know, it's the way he wants to play. And
I mean, there was
the
a
way it's
point
gonna be.
where we were seeing a lot of cores just picking up a casual level 1 Necro book, right? Because you mentioned it does increase your farm speed.
yeah, but that was pretty much Dazzle and Sniper when they had cooldown reduction with 25% or something.
I remember the
That's
Sniper
fine.
one. Asha, going to be sniped out in the bot lane. He needs to get out. Steps up. Not going to be able to move quick enough, though. Ember Spirit says, anything you can do, I can do better.
You can see why Ember Spirits are usually picked versus Void Spirits, right there. The thing is, in this particular game, they picked the Void Spirit, I believe, after the Ember still. But
It's one of the few heroes you can think of elusive that doesn't get punished, right? Like we talked about Yule's builders and how you can't get out of the Remnant, but in that situation, you sleight of fist, you can then Remnant away and make your escape. BKB by Dendy in time.
yeah,
Crystallize. Oh, another cookie. Connects on the 2. Slayer should be brought down, and looks like it'll be a TP out by Crystallize, which is successful.
yeah. Nyx Assassin got nerfed a little bit there. Meteor Hammer used to always work. If you stun with Impale and you follow up with Shift Click on Meteor Hammer, you will always get that stun off, but it's been nerfed a little bit, and because of that, the SF is able to use the BKB and turn that fight.
The good news is you've at least forced a big BKB charge, and it didn't cost you your slug. That's the most crucial part. Na'Vi did get the boss one out alive.
How's Slark doing? That's the question. Well, what are his items at the moment? We have that Aegis, BKB, Diffusal. I believe they should fight soon. With the Nyx Assassin, with that Vendetta, they might look to let's shove them away from these woods.
They are heavily investing into the Bristleback factor and countering him. They have a Spirit Vessel being built on one, and obviously the Silver Age on the other. So they are respecting what this Bristle can bring to these fights, and are still worried. Pasha goes in deep. King R's controlled up. Perfect pickoff as well, because that's the save from Bait, which means they have to run. Whiff on the stun route from Slayer. Spike Carapace does stun up Ghostic though. He's charged up the Meteor Hammer, which is going to force him to stay close, but not close enough that they can actually catch. So a little bit too slow. They will just back away. It looks like the tier 1 tower will be taken by NaVi, but they can't pursue for more right now.
Crystallize?
However, the turnaround opportunity. They go in on the Crystallize. Hannah got to heal him up. BKB charges straight in. Ghostic's going to be controlled up and brought down quickly. The Scythe thrown out, and he's dead for 75. They force the buyback out of the Dazzle, but not in time for him to actually save anyone. He might be able to save Pio, who's going to need some serious assistance. But the Yules, they interrupt him. They're going to get a second kill. The Kisses from the tree line. LeBron knows they have no Spike Carapace. He will at least find vengeance on the Magical.
That was a forced buyback from the Dazzle, but they did manage to take down Necro at least. Let's see if NaVi will stay around, perhaps try to get this tier 2 or fall back. You don't have your Necro, so most likely you just circle around, continue farming. You don't necessarily force anything any longer. You killed the Ember, that's good enough. I love the way Bait tried to go and blow up Crystallize instantly. It was a cheeky play because everyone else was just thinking about the tower, right? They were positioning themselves, thinking who should go first, and you could see Bait just instantly pounce on the Slark, even though they don't really have a lot of burst damage, and they're pouncing a Slark. It was a nice idea, but he just got healed so easily.
Yeah, it was a ridiculous amount of sustain that comes out from NaVi. Now stuns out on a Dendi. In trouble. Held in place. Getting low, but King R is nearby. They actually need to snipe out this Dazzle. Time and time again, he's the factor they have to worry about. Nice catch. They cookie through into the Remnant, which controls him up. Shallowgrave's going to come out. King R is now dead, and the use control means that Shadow Fiend is not getting out of here in anything but a coffin.
Also remember, Dazzle died, he has no buyback any longer, and that leaves NaVi pretty much free to do whatever they want in the next 60 seconds, and it looks like it's going to be tier 2. Rosh is still dead, so you don't really have that option. Take down the tier 2, you have the Meteor Hammer.
You can tickle away at that tier 3 pretty easily at this stage.
Yeah, perhaps they will do that. There's a tier 2 on the top lane as well, maybe that's a better idea, but...
Nope.
With the
Blood.
Yules?
We need more blood. Donations are appreciated as LeBron gets brought down as well. That's going to be a tier 3 tower.
Alright, Bait is kind of falling apart right now. 11k behind, and you can see the way they're dying one by one. They aren't really coherently having a plan. They aren't converging at the same spot. They aren't getting all their heroes to fight. They're just feeding one at a time, and because of that, they might even lose the Raxes. What looked like just a couple of pickoffs is going to turn into a full side, it seems.
It's
Maybe
not just that. Pio is going to be going down. Scythe in the face, dead for 90 seconds. He'll have to fight back. It might not be game just yet, but this gold lead is going to snowball out of control quickly. They're going to back away. They don't want to force the buyback.
He's not going to buy back. He's not going to buy back because they have 2 tier 2s still left remaining. So you will see NaVi just rush down to the bottom lane to take down the tier 2 and then perhaps pressure the tier 3. If they go for the tier 3, maybe they'll force the buyback, but I doubt it.
No, it's just they know they're gotten by the gonads, and the worst thing you can do is go a bridge too far in this situation.
No, they're going for it. It looks like they feel good. You have Chen ulti.
But they're going in a controlled fashion, right? It's like they're going to do this a protracted way. Just put heroes in and have escape.
Control. They're going in.
The Chen is far back. They'll just reset, heal up, go again. You just have to keep clear. The Beta are just panicking, just like, quick, hit the creeps quickly. Get rid of them right now because they're coming back again. Pasha goes in pretty cheekily. Will we slow down a little bit? Simulate away.
The only question is for Bait in this lineup is, where's the catch? Right? You have ticked a lot of boxes when it comes to snowballing, when it comes to being beefy. This minus armor as well is there, but where is the catch? If a game comes to this point, what's preventing NaVi from just going in and out multiple times in a team fight? Your Ember with Searing Chains, that's usually not enough. You need more. And this team, they don't have it. They don't have anything.
No, that's what we keep seeing from NaVi. They're basically doing the hokey pokey, you know, shaking it all about, going in and out. What hero can't get in and out is the Chen and the Necro, which we already highlighted. Even Nyx, right, to an extent, because of the Spike Carapace, Vendetta potentially to be defensive. They have the means to just prolong these fights, and prolonged engagements are not working out for Bait anymore.
It just looks like these team fights are super easy to execute for NaVi.
No, that's the perfect kill. This is so crucial. They keep King R alive. He still doesn't have buyback. Now dead for 45 seconds. Ghostic chased on 2 next. Spirit Vessel's out, and he's just going to burn in the face of all this damage. As they'll casually run him down, kill him off. That's going to be a long time on the sideline. 50 seconds. Does have buyback, and this time they'll probably try and force some.
They didn't even use the site there. He had the site online, but he didn't want to use it.
I think they want to try and force a buyback and then use it.
Yeah, probably use it on someone that doesn't have a buyback as well, which is an option.
Ooh, They want to move away. Pio, however, in a lot of trouble. He needs to retreat very quickly, not towards them. No, that's not the right Remnant. And they'll chase for more. LeBron's also going to fall. Dendi chased on too as well. He has to activate the BKB, but they won't stop right-clicking him.
They saved the mangoes. Save the mangoes.
Deforestation's a problem. Save all the mangoes, okay? Oh, Pasha. Leave the trees alone.
Wait, did he just buy a quelling blade or something?
Can you leave the trees
Tangos, yeah.
alone, okay? People need to make more toilet paper.
He bought a tango to eat their mango tree in front of their fountain.
Oh, Slayer jumps in on a free. Meteor Hammer follow-up connects onto 2. Pio hit on 2. He's just going to burn down in the face of the damage. 3 dead on bait, and they're going to lose more. It looks like it might be a team wipe at this rate. Ghostic chased into his fountain, crystallized once more. Dendi still trying to hold up against this, but it looks like he will also die, as this should be the game.
Yeah, there you go. They're just cleaning them up next to their fountain.
They're not done. They're like, let's go in. No, go set the boys. We still want to play. LeBron just looking for someone to smooch with. But it's over. GG gets called 2-0. And, well, while most of us have been washing our hands, NaVi, they make a statement. We've washed our hands of Dendi for good.